More than 1 billion people in the world live with some sort of disability, and 200 million of them have considerable challenges functioning. Dr. Dinesh Palipana is Queensland's first quadriplegic doctor and the country's second. He wasn't always a quadriplegic though. Born in Sri Lanka, the family migrated to Australia and he completed his LLB and then decided to go into medicine. But a catastrophic accident left him with a massive cervical spinal cord injury. From then on, the challenges have been unimaginable. While he had to rewire himself to adapt to his new life, his medical career faced hurdle after hurdle. Primarily because the entire system was not just used to having a quadriplegic doctor in their midst. Proving himself over and over again and showing that he can, Dinesh has broken barrier after barrier, becoming a tireless advocate for inclusivity in medicine and the general workplace. But changing attitudes is a very difficult uphill task. Dinesh, what does it feel like to be Queensland's Australian of the Year?
It's such an incredible honor, and I don't really know how to feel, which is what I'm thinking. I think I'm still soaking it all in, and but it's amazing. It's an incredible honor.
If you actually look at the inclusiveness of society, what are the biggest barriers there are to making society inclusive to people with disabilities?
It's attitudes of our society, because we always think about what barriers people have and we assume things about people. I was just listening to my boss talk this morning, and he was saying that, you know, it's when I started out my career, people made a lot of assumptions about what I could and couldn't do, but he said never make assumptions about people. So I think we have to put our assumptions and prejudices away.
What are the preconceived psychological barriers that communities have in making society inclusive in this context?
I think we have a lot of, just because someone has a disability or a physical disability, it doesn't mean that their life's over. They still have the same hopes and dreams, and they have the same abilities. I always like to pull out Stephen Hawking as an example, because he was a guy that couldn't move any part of his body and even needed support to talk, but he changed the way we think about the universe. And I think we need to give everyone that opportunity, you know, whether disability or not, what race, what ethnicity, whatever gender, we need to give everyone a chance. But it's, again, those prejudices and assumptions that stop us from doing that.
Dinesh, what has been your most effective tool personally in this inclusiveness journey?
Not to plug Nike, but just do it. That's really been the best tool that I've had, because, you know, even in my own head, I had all these ideas about whether this would work and all these fears about how I would do things. And you can intellectualize things forever, but that is actually what paralyzes you. But you just have to do it. You have to take action.
Sri Lanka's fundamentals in displaying inclusiveness for people with disabilities is limited. There's little focus, it's almost like an afterthought. How do you think the mindset needs to be changed, and where should we start?
You know, I always think about this. We have human rights conventions, and we have laws, and we have policies, and we have all these big, beautiful things that are supposed to change the world for people. But they don't mean anything unless each and every one of us does something. So I think we have to take it upon ourselves. Every person has to think about how they can make the world a bit more inclusive, how they can make the world a bit more accessible, and how they can include someone. And that's what matters. You know, my friends in Sri Lanka, they healed my soul when I had the accident, and they gave me the chance. But they did that just for one person, and now I'm able to live my life and do all these things. So it just takes one person.
Briefly, what is a lesson that you would like to share with society and with people with disabilities, you know, those who can integrate into the community like yourself?
You know, I think these days we have the technology, the means to do things. We can bridge physical gaps. So that physical thing isn't really an issue anymore. But we really have to change our attitudes, and we really have to work with one person at a time. my mom, she loves this saying where she says that if you can help one person, you may not change the world, but you'll change the world for them. And that's really powerful. I think we really need to just start doing that. Start helping one person. Start putting away those assumptions, and let's make this an amazing world.
Disability is a human rights issue because people with disabilities experience inequality. They are denied access to healthcare, employment, education, and even community participation. People with disabilities are subject to violations of dignity. There's violence, abuse, prejudice, and disrespect. As Dinesh says, start with ourselves, look within, make a change in attitude, and give a person with disabilities the space to live their life and to be included. As a footnote, Dinesh is currently involved in novel rehabilitation technique research for spinal cord injuries and will soon be tying the knot. Good luck, Dinesh. Thank you for joining us on Ceylinco Life Let's Talk and for prompting us to think differently.
With Ceylinco Life Pension Saver, Sri Lanka's premier retirement plan, start planning for your retirement today. Ceylinco Life, a relationship for life.